Chapter 5. Mr. Hart. Leo Hart liked to visit the Okie children when they played in the field next to Weed Patch Camp. He was 40 years old at the time, but it did not seem unusual to the children that this tall, slender man came to their makeshift playground at least once a week. When he played tag or baseball with the Okie kids or sat in a circle with them in the field and talked, the children called him Mr. Hart. He was a caring man who always had a smile on his face, as if he knew some great secret no one else knew. Leo took off his suit coat and tie and went barefoot with the Okie kids. He listened to them talk about the terror wind in the panhandle, about eating carrot stems and apple pits along Mother Road, and about the ridicule they faced in town and in school. He knew what we were going through, Joyce Foster recalled. He knew they called us maggots and scum. He understood and he cared. Like Joyce, who was 10 at the time, all the children looked forward to seeing Mr. Hart, but none of them could have guessed what the man in the dirt field had in store for them. Leo had been born and raised in Vinton, Iowa, where his mother was a teacher in a rural school and his father operated a plumbing business from a horse-drawn wagon. As a young man, Leo joined the United States Army and fought in France during World War I. Before the end of the war, he contracted tuberculosis and almost died. Doctors sent him to a sanitarium in the hot, dry climate of Tucson, Arizona, hoping he would recover. He did, barely, after surgeons removed a lung and a kidney. Leo checked out of the hospital and enrolled as a student at the University of Arizona, where he earned a master's degree in education and met his lifelong companion and future wife, Edna. In 1927, Leo took his first teaching position in Bakersfield, California. By 1938, when Okie children were crowding into schools of Kern County, Leo was head counselor in the Kern County High School District. Every day, he recalled, I talked to a dozen children who were crying because someone had called them a dumb Okie. It was as head counselor and as a playmate in the field next to Weed Patch Camp that Leo came to know the problems facing the Okie children and decided to take action. In 1939, Leo decided to run for the office of Kern County Superintendent of Education. He was well known and had advised most of the students and made friends with their parents at PTA meetings, so it was no surprise that he was elected. But Leo knew that most people in Kern County would fight any attempt to help the Okies, so it was no surprise either that during his campaign he avoided saying anything about helping Okie kids in the public schools. The big problem for me, the superintendent said, was to find out what to do for these children, to get them adjusted into society and to take their rightful place. Leo knew that many of the Okie kids were illiterate. He knew that they ate with their fingers and went to the bathroom outdoors and needed, as Leo put it, training in manners, morals, and etiquette. He knew that most were undernourished and needed medical attention, not to mention shirts, dresses, and shoes. And he knew that the Okie children knew all of this too and cried, or fought back with their fists, when they were called dumb Okies. But because he played and talked with the Okie children, he also knew that they were ordinary kids, Leo said, with the same hopes and dreams the rest of us have. Leo believed that with hard work, with determination, and with a belief in themselves, the children of Weed Patch Camp could take their rightful place. It would not be an easy task. When Leo was elected superintendent, hostility in Kern County toward Okies was at a fever pitch. Policemen and civilians formed armed patrols called bum brigades and guarded the county's borders to keep Okies out. In 1938, a mob headed by the sheriff burned down an Okie migrant camp under the Kern River Bridge. Then irate farmers armed with pitchforks, guns, bricks, and clubs attacked Weed Patch Camp at night and tried to drive the Okies out. Hundreds of Okies went to jail for defending themselves and their families, but not one local was arrested. In 1939, Kern County banned the Grapes of Wrath. All the while, Leo continued to visit the Okie kids in the field next to Weed Patch. During this period of violence against Okies, Patsy Lamb later recalled, "Mr. Hart was our only friend." First, Leo tried to place the Okie children in the outlying rural schools of Kern County, hoping they might blend in with sons and daughters of farmers and ranchers. But he met stiff opposition. One high-ranking school official in the Vineland School District called the superintendent's office and scolded Leo. "You're not going to spend our money for these sons of bitches. You can't educate these sons of bitches. They're going to grow up just like their fathers and mothers. They're a shiftless lot. They've got no brains." Soon, Leo's office was flooded with letters from angry parents protesting his plan. The parents demanded that Leo remove all Okie children from all the public schools. At least 2 educators called Leo a communist and warned that his job might be in jeopardy, even though he had held it only a few months. The opposition to the Okie children angered Leo. Edna Hart recalled that her husband would come home from work so upset that he couldn't eat or sleep. "I could never understand," Leo said, "why these kids should be treated differently. I could never understand why they shouldn't be given the same opportunity as others. Someone had to do something for them because no one cared about them." In 1940, Leo decided that if no one wanted the Okie kids in public schools, then maybe the Okie children should have their own school. It would be a different school, he thought. It would be more than bricks and buildings, more than lessons and homework in math and writing. It would teach practical skills, such as masonry, mechanics, and agriculture. It would also teach the children to be proud of who they were. It would instill self-confidence in them so they might succeed in life on their own. It would provide the Okie children, Leo said, with educational experiences in a broader and richer curriculum than were present in most schools. Above all else, Leo insisted it would be their school.